Thank you, Andrew. Well, the news is there haven't been many footballs actually kicked so far, but there has been a lot of action and excitement. The players have been settling into their new surrounds here in Tokyo, while the coaching staff have been venturing out into the city. In a land of neon and seemingly endless bombardment of the senses, a land lived at a frenetic pace, Sydney FC learnt an early lesson. In Japan, the tattoo is taboo. Yesterday's recovery session became a tale of the tape, with a variety of Blues forced to cover up their offending ink so as to be allowed into a public pool from which they would have otherwise been banned.
I'm not the best swimmer as it is, it was just weighing me down a little.
Coach Branko Culina weighing up his options for Wednesday. Yesterday taking in Urawa's 2-1 defeat of Nagoya Grampus 8 with his staff at a football bar in central Tokyo. Valuable preparation for a match already talked about in a special manner.
For many years, like you say, the one-off games, but I think now it's going to happen regularly. So, on Wednesday it will be the first biggest game for Australian club football, yes.
And the local fans are confident of an impressive showing in what, with rivals Kawasaki having already qualified for the quarterfinals, is an equally important match for the Saitama club.
川崎には答えたくない。日本で最初にレッツがやっぱり優勝してほしい。
There'll be no love given from Steve Corica, though, come Wednesday evening, even with his fond memories from a 2-year stint with J-League side Sanfrecce Hiroshima.
It's always nice coming back here. The people are very friendly. I had a good time here. Even though I wasn't in Tokyo most of the time, I was in Sanfrecce most of the time in Hiroshima. But it's just good to be back amongst the people and obviously the great food here.
The food was no trouble, but the local transport system was another matter altogether for Culina, who ventured out into the wilds of Tokyo peak hour. Yes, Andrew, it certainly has been an eventful couple of days for Sydney FC, and I'm joined now by their coach, Branko Culina. Branko, what did you make of yesterday's match, Urawa versus Nagoya Grampus 8?
Yeah, an interesting game and interesting tempo of the game. Urawa Reds in particular are a very classy technical side who knocked the ball about fairly well, but just intensity wasn't quite there. Whether that was only because of the opposition yesterday or whether that's the way they play all the time, I'm not quite sure. But knowing them as well as I do, I think that's pretty much how they play all of their games.
You've already talked about the threats certain players pose, Ponte in particular. Have you got a plan or a structure in mind for Wednesday night as to how you might counter him?
Yeah, there's no doubt that Ponte is the key player. He seems to, everything seems to go through him. He's got a free role. He tends to drift in and from the midfield to the flanks. And even yesterday's game, he set up both of their goals and he was the key player. Washington is another one that's really a danger player because of his size and ability to get into scoring positions. It was interesting yesterday, though, that they played pretty much a 3-6-1 formation. Whether they were practicing for our game, I'm not quite sure, but I'm led to believe that that's probably the way they will start. But Ponte in particular is a guy that we'll keep an eye on.
Is there a temptation that you might man-mark him?
That's a thought.
Yep. And I suppose the other thing from yesterday that you already know as well is the crowd support that they have. We're talking maybe 64,000 on Wednesday night. We saw probably 10, 15 travelling fans yesterday. Is that going to be intimidating for your side?
Oh, it was just unbelievable to go out there and watch the game where, they were the away team and their crowd was chanting and singing for the duration of the 90 minutes. It was absolutely just amazing atmosphere. And there's no doubt when you multiply that by 3 or 4 times that it's going to be even a more daunting task for us. But we're looking forward to it. You never know. We might get some, cotton buds and put in the ears just to stop the noise from coming through. But certainly the crowd's been phenomenal in their support for the club.
There's been some injury concerns on your side as well. Mark Rudin, one of those, he got a first-class seat in the plane on the way over. Is he pulled up okay? Any other concerns?
Yeah, that's what happens when you've got the right connections. But, Mark's had a couple of days off now and because he got a cortisone injection just before we left. So we'll leave it until tomorrow, Monday, and then we'll take it from there. Both he and Ufi haven't done any training whatsoever since the start of the week, so we've got our fingers crossed that they'll both be okay for the game on Wednesday.
There's been some talk that this might be the biggest single club match ever played by an Australian side. Do you see it in that kind of manner?
Well, it probably, when you look at the importance of the game, probably the crowd that is going to be involved, and maybe what's at the end of the so-called group stage. I think it might well be, but nevertheless, it's going to be a huge game for all of our boys. Very few of them have been in this situation before, and it's a wonderful, wonderful experience for them that will keep them in good stead for the rest of their careers.
Just finally on the marquee player, there's been, I guess, renewed talk that Koku may be coming. There's been some talk about Popovic as well. What's the state of the marquee player with Sydney FC?
Not quite sure. My phone's not working here in Japan, so I'll have to get it fixed fairly quickly. But yeah, look, we haven't stopped looking, and it's important that we continue to do that until we've identified and are able to get the right people. Both of those names that you've mentioned are players that we have talked about. Popovic not so much as a marquee player, but more as a player coming back to Australia, and it would be a wonderful acquisition for us. But again, it's early days, and we'll continue to discuss the possibility over the next few days.
Branko, thanks for joining us on the World Game.
Thank you.